Hey everyone, it's Chad Hasty, host of the Chad Hasty Show. Yesterday, a memorial service in Dallas honoring the five police officers who were shot and killed last Thursday in that attack on the Dallas Police Department. A lot of good speakers who spoke on Thursday during the memorial service. Former President George W. Bush had some great things to say. President Obama got up to speak as well. You had some great moments there by the chief of police in Dallas. He's been giving some great press conferences and has had a lot of great things to say in the past. But I want to compare and really talk a little bit about the two presidents that were on stage, President Bush and then President Obama. President Bush got up, and I'm reading here from Politico. This is these are parts of what President Bush had to say. President Bush saying argument turns too easily into animosity. Disagreement escalates into dehumanization. Too often we judge other groups by their worst examples while judging ourselves by our best intentions. This has strained our bonds of understanding and common purpose. But Americans have an advantage. And this from Politico. In order to renew that unity, Bush said, Americans only need to remember our values. We have never been held together by blood or background. What we are bound by, the things of spirit, shared by commitments to common ideals. At our best, we practice empathy, imagining ourselves and the lives and circumstances of others, Bush said. This is the bridge across our nation's deepest divisions. It's not merely a matter of tolerance, but of learning from the struggles and stories of fellow citizens and finding our better selves in the process. At our best, we honor the image of God we see in one another. We recognize that we are brothers and sisters sharing in the same brief moment on earth and knowing each other in the loyalty of our shared humanity. At our best, we know we have one country, one future, one destiny. Great words from former President George W. Bush. When George W. Bush got up to speak, you could tell he was emotional. Something that we've always known about George W. Bush, the former president, is that he wears his emotions on his sleeve. When he talked about 9/11, after 9/11, the man would cry. You would see tears in his eyes. You know that he cared about this country. When you watched the memorial service in Dallas yesterday, you could tell that this man cared about those police officers who were brutally attacked and killed by this terrorist. President Obama got up to speak, and it was a great speech for Obama for the first 20 or so minutes. It was a very good speech about policing and about the police officers' commitment to helping and saving lives. But then the president started to get political. Some of the things that the president had to say during the conference, he told the crowd, and by the way, this is a crowd mainly of police officers, that people can't dismiss fears of the African American community and what they may have of police officers. President Obama saying about police officers and about our institutions, quote, none of us is entirely innocent. None of our institutions are completely immune from prejudice. President Obama also said that, brought up some of the lives that were lost last week, the African American men who were shot and killed by police officers. By the way, we still don't have the facts, all the facts regarding those shootings. The president also said this about guns. It is easier for a teenager to get his hands on a Glock than a computer or a book. Really? This was a memorial service to 5 officers who have been killed. 5 officers who gave their lives to protect other people. In total, 12 officers were shot that day in Dallas. And the President of the United States gets up, gives a fine speech for the first 20 or so minutes, and then has to go political. Then has to lecture police officers on Black Lives Matter. Then has to lecture police officers about racial bias and how we have racial bias even in the Dallas Police Department. Remember, the president said no institution is exempt. Then the president had to lecture Americans on guns. It was shameful. The President of the United States needed to go to Dallas yesterday, and he needed to console those in Dallas. He needed to talk about how great police officers are, about how wonderful police departments are around this country, and about how police officers go, and they are the ones who will run into the buildings first. Though they are the ones who will protect us. They are the ones who, like the Dallas Police Department did the night of the shooting, they will protect the protesters when there is a threat. Instead, the president gets up, he gives a good speech, first 20 minutes, and then lectures the police there inside that building. It was shameful from the President of the United States. George W. Bush, former president, gave a much better speech. In fact, everyone else gave a much better speech. Yesterday was about the Dallas police officers and should have only been about the Dallas police officers. It was another shameful act from this president, who obviously, to me, doesn't care much about police or justice at all. Tune in to the Chad Hasty Show weekday mornings 8:30 to 11 a.m. Central Time. You can find me on Twitter, Chad Hasty Radio, and don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Have a great day.